Hey everyone, it's sold out, bringing you the updated deck profile. There's only about two changes in here from the previous list that I want to go over. The first is you'll notice the one of Gust, one of Falling Star, one of Rebuke in the main. This is something that I've been experimenting with, kind of adding powerful one of cards to the main deck for game one. In game one, we have access to these on Warrens, which allows us to filter through our deck and kind of find these one of powerful cards. But it also allows us to discard these cards in a matchup where they might not get the most amount of value. I found this new play pattern very, very potent, very powerful. Definitely something that I'll be experimenting with further. You'll see on the side that we have the second star, the second rebuke, and the copies 2 and 3 of Gust. I'm very, very happy with this new pattern. Definitely, like I said, something I'll be experimenting with more. But right now, I really like the play patterns that this kind of game one list enables. The versatility that putting these cards in has provided definitely had a noticeable impact in tournament. So, very happy with this change. The other change I want to discuss is moving the veins to the side. Vayne is a very powerful going second tool. Vayne is very good for the Darius matchup and for the Kaisa players who are playing Noxus Hopeful. That being said, I don't think that those two decks, I should say, um, make up a large enough of the meta to justify Vayne in the main. So I've moved Vayne to the side, for those matchups where Vayne is applicable. And then I've added 2 copies of Noxus Hopeful to the main. This card was actually recommended to me by another Annie player. This is just a card that I think I had tested before in the past, but didn't really understand the reason why it was good. And so since putting it in and, playing with it a little bit more, I've grown to appreciate the power of this card, especially in the Kaisa matchup. It is a very cheap way to get a 4 might unit on the board. The 4 might threshold is really important in the Kaisa matchup because it doesn't die to Hextech Ray, it doesn't die to 1 Falling Star proc, and it eats a Void Seeker. And eating a Void Seeker is extremely powerful because it allows Kaisa Survivor to walk in and conquer, triggering her ability a lot more frequently and a lot more consistently. So since adding the Noxus Hopeful to the deck, I think I have like a 90 something percent win rate in the Kaisa. I've only lost one match, and that was the finals in the cash tournament I mentioned before. But that match, I mean, game three, I just got pretty unlucky. Oh fuck no! Cut that! Cut that! Cut that! Cut that! Cut that! Since adding Noxus Hopeful, my win rate versus Kaisa has gone up quite dramatically. In fact, it's a card that I've considered playing 3 of, but I decided that 2 was the right place for it as it was available in the matchup where it was needed, but I didn't brick on it in matchups where it wasn't very good, which is pretty much every matchup that's not Kaisa, to be honest. But the Kaisa matchup is so important that I felt it was worth playing 2 of in the main. I feel very validated by that decision as this card came up very, very consistently versus Kaisa. And even in matchups that aren't Kaisa, this card is like serviceable. It's still a 4 might guy that you can put on the board for a low energy. So yeah, this is the updated list. Mostly the same, except for those 2 things I mentioned. This new game one Zon sort of filter strategy, which I'm very happy with, and then the 2 hopefuls in the main. So that's that. This has been sold out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.